Hello and welcome to the Hockey Life Podcast, episode 9. Today we are joined by one of the most influential and dominant players Australia has seen over the last 20 years. He has played 16 seasons for the Melbourne Ice in the AIHL. He has got 4 good old cups to his name. He has played for the Australian team 14 times and been the captain of the senior men's team twice. I'd like to welcome Mr. Tommy Powell. Welcome to the podcast.
What an intro. Well done. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, episode 9. I can't believe it took this long to get me on, but I guess, ninth best, so I'll take it.
I'm forgetting a huge stat here, and that is second for all-time points in the AIHL, only behind the great Greg Oddie. That one is massive.
Yeah, my pockets are pretty full when I was playing, so I chiseled a lot of assists, paid off a lot of refs, so, probably if you find all the stats from the early days, you'll see a bunch of secondaries, and I'll take them.
That is epic. Now, Tommy, first off, I've heard a little rumour that, even though we're sitting in Melbourne right now and, such a Melbourne ice hockey player right here with the ice, did it all begin in Narrabeen?
It did, yeah. Narrabeen Bombers was my first ever team when I was 7, and yeah, I couldn't wait to get out of Sydney and move to Melbourne and start a hockey career.
Just start playing a real hockey game. That's it. Yeah.
No, I just started in Sydney. Yeah, Narrabeen Bombers played against Canterbury Eagles and Blacktown Flyers.
Yep.
In my day.
And how did that come about? Like, I always hear the stories of there's friends or there's someone around the circle that is playing, and then that's how you get into it, or how did it happen for you?
It's just a birthday party. I didn't have any friends from school or anything that were playing. Just one kid had a birthday party at Narrabeen, and we from there I enjoyed it. I was doing a bit of rollerblading with my mum at the time, so I kind of had a basic idea of at least a skating stride. I was into it and saw a hockey players wanted or come and try poster, and said to mum I wanted to do that, and then the next year I was enrolled. So all started from there, and I was lucky enough to get my own equipment and start playing.
Okay, so that's a huge moment. Brian and I both remember that first kind of gear that you get, and it's just like your whole world at that point. Is there any pieces of gear that stick out that you remember from when you first started?
I guess the memory for me, I can't remember what store we went to, but we went to one of the rinks that had a hockey shop of some degree in there, and I wanted a hockey jersey pretty badly, and I was like, really want to get an NHL team jersey, and we went in there and there was only 2 jerseys to choose from.
Toronto home and away?
I wish it was. It was a Rangers blue and a Islanders blue, and
yes,
it wasn't much of an orange guy, so it was a Rangers jersey to start off my hockey endeavour, and probably should have stuck with the Rangers as a fan. Would have been a lot more pleasurable than
fitting with the Melbourne Ice colourway.
Yeah, and it would have matched that as well. So yeah, maybe if I could do my time over, I would have stuck with it.
It has been a tough few years being a Maple Leafs fan, but
we can get into it. Yeah,
so
we could start that conversation.
I'm on many bandwagons, but yeah, definitely it hurts sometimes.
You can go all day with that, Tommy.
Yeah, Brian knows me too well about NHL, and yeah, I'm not gonna start that one. I think we don't have enough time.
Okay, I hear.
That's positive.
So it really kind of started in Sydney, and you're playing and you're off and rolling, and then you moved to Melbourne. So was that kind of part of it as well? Like you straight away, you found a club to continue playing, and where was that and who was that for?
Yeah, so straight away I started my hockey, like I said, in Narrabeen. I started as a defenseman. Couldn't tell you anything about playing D now. But yeah, Sydney kind of had me as a D and moved to Melbourne, and just, work commitments. Mum and Dad were moving, so obviously I'm coming. Moved here straight away and found an ice rink in Ringwood that had a team called the Blackhawks. Just straight away they looked at me and just said, "You can play forward." And I went, "I don't know what that is." So yeah, I just made a switch right away, and I've never looked back. Yeah. So just playing forward ever since, and try and keep out of the defensive zone as much as possible. So if you have the puck, you don't need to play D.
So do you remember that being a bit of a transition, kind of, if you started as a D, like I started as a D and I never kind of evolved out of that. So I don't know what that's about, but was that a bit of a transition to start playing forward, or were you always kind of more offensive with your game?
I don't know. I think I was probably a bit more offensive, at least minded at that time. I think, obviously being still 3 years into hockey and so young, I was just not really too sure of what I was doing. But I think, it's probably in me to somewhat of I want to get the puck and play offense and keep it as much as possible rather than shut down defensemen or block guys out or something like that. So, I want to keep the puck as much as possible.
Yeah, that's epic. And so talk to me about when you're 13, you're heading overseas to Colorado to play. Is that right?
Yeah. Went over and spent a year over there. Just packed my bags, and Mum and Dad put me on a plane and said, "See you later." But no, my dad came with me for a couple of weeks and ended up playing in Vail, Colorado. It's a lovely spot if you've never been. Highly recommend. Not just for skiing, good town. So
Yeah.
Went there and played Bantam AAA. I was way out of my league. Everyone was 1,000 times better than me. So it was a good wake up call, and I'm sure it's still the same. If a lot of Aussies are looking to go over there, I'd say definitely put in the hard work before you go. Mine was a bit of a quick turnaround in terms of finding a team. So, but it was an absolute blast, and I learnt so much, and everyone was so welcoming, and it was a good start to what is my hockey career.
Yep. And Brian, I guess you can speak to this as well because you went overseas, but what was like the thing that stood out to you the most, like when you first jumped on the ice for that first practice with that AAA team, of like what was the differences between what you had kind of played and seen in Australia?
Just the levels. Like in Australia, you can have especially as like the younger age groups, is you've got your top tier players, you've got your middle players, and then you've got your sort of beginners. And that's, I'm sure, through, all the states at the lower levels for sure, especially when you're growing up. But you get over there and it's just like everyone's the same. Like, and everyone's at that top level plus. Like, they're all so good and so drilled, and, they're on the ice 4, 5, 6 times a week. And, we're lucky to get one training and one game, especially like that's what it was when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So it's just like trying to compete with that is impossible. So
Yep. Brian, you got anything to add about that part?
How'd you get connected there? Obviously, like, I've heard stories of people like, is it a friend connection? Did someone spot, like that kid's got it, let's get him overseas? How did that sort of conversation start, and what was it like with your parents in terms of, I guess, convincing them that you're really passionate about it and you're going to take this opportunity seriously if they want to send you
there was like
overseas?
I guess you could say, Australian tournament that was on in Minnesota, and it was sort of one of those ones that whoever could pay the money, you could go and play, sort of thing. And we were just lucky enough to be in that. Seemed like it was a lot of Melbourne people at the time that got this invite. There wasn't too many interstate. And I just went there and I guess had a decent enough tournament. And one of the coaches knew that he's got this team in Colorado, and just sort of passed it on. And they got connected with me and my parents when we were still there, and just said, "Would you be interested in going? The season starts in 3 weeks." I was
That's
like,
the turnaround.
"Yeah, sure. I'm interested in going. Like, I'd love to play hockey." My parents knew that I loved it, and like a lot of kids, I'm sure you were the same, Funsey, like hockey posters all over the wall, watching NHL highlights all the time. And, obviously it was, a good dream to have, to one day possibly, go as far as I can with hockey. And it was a good start. So we just made the decision. Like, as soon as I got home, we just sat down and said, "Look, if you want to go, you've got to go all in." And we just did it. So we just 3 weeks later, I was on a plane and I was there. And I remember the first thing I did when we got there, we went for like hill sprints in Vail. And like, I'm 13, not very fit, never really been in the gym, just kind of, once a week, and just almost had a heart attack straight off a plane, like trying to keep up with everyone.
The altitude is legit.
Sorry?
The altitude?
Oh, yeah.
No joke.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a whole new world. So, doing that and everything I was going through was good fun.
That is the deep end. I don't think it can get any deeper than that of throwing yourself right into the mix. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was me. Deep end, no floaties, can barely swim. So, but I somehow survived.
Yeah, you made it work. That is truly Tommy Powell in a nutshell right there.
And then 15 years old, you headed back over to play midget AAA. So after that first stint, were you kind of coming into that second time going over with a little bit of a different mindset, or were you like shooting 100 pucks a day or doing the hill sprints before you went over?
Yeah, I tried to get a lot fitter at that time. I definitely had started, a bit of gym and a lot more running and sprints and, plyometric stuff. So I was definitely a lot more prepared to go the second time. And yeah, it was great. I had a good time, played better. It was minor midget AAA. And yeah, I was like one of the sort of just above mid pack, got to play some power play time and stuff. So yeah, enjoyed it. It was good hockey, good friends. So yeah, I learned a lot again, and it was, good to have that first year to test the preparation and, get the mindset right.
Did you notice a difference between USA and Canadian hockey? Like you had a little bit of a feel for how the game was played in Colorado. Did you notice a shift in how they played in Canada as opposed to Colorado?
Not really. I mean, we played against all of the like Honey Baked and Shattuck St. Mary's and all like the major like schools, and they were just all 1,000 times better than us. So like, yeah, trying to keep up with all those kids that are on like full scholarships and they're like full hockey 24/7. Where we were kind of close to that. Like we made nationals both years I was there, which is like top 16 teams in the state, but we were like number 16.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
It was good fun. Yeah, I remember like being in Shattuck St. Mary's and Crosby was playing for the midget major AAA team, and we watched them play against our Outlaws team, and he just shredded them. Like it wasn't even close. I think he had 4 or 5 goals at the end of second period, and then he just got scratched for the third. They just said, "Don't even come out." Like it was insane. So I can't even remember who they had on the roster now, but I remember looking him up and being like, that guy's going to be sick one day. And yeah, had a better hockey career than me.
I mean, his pond is a little bit bigger, but you're pretty big in our pond, mate. So some might say you're the Sidney Crosby of Australia. I mean,
I'll be expecting the tagline.
That can be said.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come back home, and then are you playing Blackhawks and starting to train with the Melbourne Ice, or is it straight into the Melbourne Ice then?
Yeah, I kind of came back and was trying to play as much hockey as I could. I tried out for Melbourne Ice. I think I was 16 or 17 trying out for Melbourne Ice. The first year for Melbourne Ice got cut. Too young, I guess, so that's fine.
Yep.
Could have had more stats if I played one more year, who knows? Probably
Yep.
a few more minuses. They were pretty bad at the time. So
Yeah.
But yeah, and then just trying to play as much hockey as I could and just enjoying it, and started to play like A grade at that time, at a young age of 16, I think was like you can start playing, and yeah, did pretty good there. And then the next year I made Melbourne Ice. I think it was like 2003. So
Yep.
yeah, started from there, and yeah, it was good fun.
And then you also made the World Junior program there for the Australian team. So that was 04, and that was your first one. You went. Is that the first time pulling on the green and gold jersey?
Yeah, that was an absolute honour. Like,
Yep.
Always putting on a jersey of your country is phenomenal, and I was lucky enough to do that at, a young age, and playing juniors at 17 was pretty incredible for me. And I did 17, 18, 19 for juniors. Didn't make the youth team, but I made the junior team. So we weren't too sure on that one, but probably saved some money because those trips are quite expensive. My parents probably thankful for that, but all bloody
100%.
ribs, I don't know. You choose. So
Hey, we've all been there. We've all had the stare before. We know what it's about.
yeah, but no, it was great. Like
But
the
gold
juniors
medal,
was so much
gold
fun.
medal at that first. Well, like U20. That's pretty amazing. What do you remember about those kind of moments, like the lead up and then the tournament and then coming away with gold there?
It was great. Yeah, just like living the hockey dream. Just being a hockey player for 3.5 weeks, just a couple of times a day on the ice, and rest, recover, be around the guys, just live the dream. The main thing I actually remember from the tournament is, other than we really put on a dominant show, is Alex Jamerzi. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was a Sydney guy. He was an ice dog. He became a dentist in the end. He stopped playing, but he would spend I don't know, probably like 10 minutes, and I'm not over-exaggerating here, before puck drop, in the mirror, checking his equipment, touching his helmet, making sure everything was just like... And he would touch everything and like just be in the mirror, just looking at himself. And you'd be like, what is this guy doing? Like, I've never seen a guy like this before. Everyone's usually head down, focused, or, sort of taping a stick. He's just in the mirror looking at himself and being like, he can't be serious. And then he goes out there and he's just the best player by a mile. He was phenomenal. So, yeah, whatever works.
Weapon. He always looked put together. Like, everything was perfect. When you look at his skates, perfect. Yeah. Helmet, visor.
No creases in those laces at all. Nah, tape was perfect. Good hockey player.
What a gun. Okay, so then you're playing with Melbourne Ice. So, I mean, it was a different time to what the AIHL is right now. Like, how difficult was it to get consistent ice with the Melbourne Ice, when you were first coming into that team? Was it difficult, like riding the pine a lot, or were you were given it?
No, I was given a good chance straight away my first year. Sandy Gardner was the coach, and he gave me a good run. I think I had a pretty good season for the local league, and he sort of, didn't like me the year before, and sort of gave me his fair share of trust, which was great. So, I was playing good minutes at that time. We were training once a week at Oakley at 10 p.m. every Wednesday. So, we didn't have a lot of training time, and we weren't the greatest team, but over the years at Oakley, we slowly built up and sort of made our run into the playoffs and moved it on from there. But yeah, it was a different day playing at Oakley compared to playing at all the rinks we have now. But, home ice advantage is huge, and we played that rink really well. We saw a number of imports come in and walk out the door and just not play, which was great for us. So, we got some wins, and not a lot of time and space out there, but it's great. Keeps your head up, quick puck movement. We played it great, and it was fun. Like, it was a good rink to have as your home rink, and watch people come in and not know what to do. And we played really well there. So
it's a great rink. I remember the first time I ever went there with the Bears. Like, I was young and just, I wasn't getting a lot of ice, but in warm up, like, I'm skating around and I couldn't see the other end of the rink. Like, there was so much mist, and I just saw these huge, like, defensemen just skating through it, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is real. And then it was real.
Yeah, it happens really fast there.
Yeah.
They fixed all the fogs. That's great now. So but that was definitely a problem for a while. So
were you playing defense then, Shawnee?
I think I got a few mercy shifts at the end of the game, and I'm pretty sure I'm looking to get Liam on the podcast for this, because I'm pretty sure I remember lining up at the face-off against Liam, and I think he thought it was just disrespectful that they had put me in at centre because I was quite clearly just a rookie.
He was disgusted when he saw you next to him.
And I put my stick down. I'm ready to go. And he just snapped my stick, just slashed it in half. And I was like, oh. So then I had to play the rest of the game with a wood stick, so no good.
Yeah.
No good.
Well, if it wasn't him slashing you, it was going to be that little corner where the Zamboni door is. It was
probably the better option, but that's what I got. So it's good. It probably worked out well, for the best.
Or if you went into the corner with Huxley. You remember those stories? Funsey?
Oh, buddy, yeah.
Huxley and I used to have a competition. Not going to name drop anyone here, but Huxley and I used to have a competition who could go into the corner and, stomp on someone's stick and see how many we could break in a year. So I think Huxley got 4 one year. So, when your stick's broken, you just got to drop it. You can't play. So, good tactics.
Exactly, yeah. Them's the rules. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, what are you going to do? And I got someone once in Sydney, and I received a punch in the face for it, which was probably fair, but we had the puck from there. So
hey, look, we're getting all the good tips today.
I don't do it anymore.
Technical.
Don't watch anything.
All right, and so moving on. 2006, 2007, AIHL MVP. Talk to me about that.
I think it was a lockout year. I don't think there was anyone else playing.
Okay. But still, that's great. I mean, look.
Yeah, I
among
mean,
peers, that's wonderful.
yeah, pretty shocked, to be honest. But
Yep.
yeah, just didn't see it coming. Didn't know why I was being called back to the rink on
Yep.
the grand final day when the rest of the team wasn't going there. Obviously, when you're out, Funsey, you don't really care about what the result is. It's not your team. So, I got friends on every team and I hope they all do well. But when you're out, and you're just like, doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, I got called back and I guess I had a pretty good year. Played with some good players and got pretty lucky in the end. So,
were you still a little banged up when you accepted that award?
Can't remember, to be honest. So it must have been. It's pretty young, so yeah, it might have been.
And so talk to me about those, first 4 years in the AI. Who were some of the mentors that you were kind of surrounded by or whose game that you were looking at and kind of, playing with or really close in with in that stretch?
Yeah, we had some really good leaders and, good vets at the time, and some of them are, sort of my age or just even a bit older. Like Liam has been a staple with Melbourne Ice forever, and I was lucky enough to be growing up playing against him for club level, and always trying to keep up with him. Really, like he's phenomenal, and he was playing and earned all of his ice time. So I always wanted to try and play with him and get on his line. Joey Hughes, Vinny, Greg Sturick, like Glenn Mayer. There was a guy Bubba we had this import. The list goes on. Like we just had really good core group of people that were phenomenal and good with the younger guys and really took us under their wings. Dougie Stevenson was a guy that really helped me.
Yeah,
he played the club league with me as well. Played Blackhawks and Melbourne Ice. So yeah, he was awesome. He was a guy that really like grabbed me and said, "Follow me, kid. Let's go." So
yep.
he had a few darts at the end of each period out back at Oakley, but hey, it worked for him.
That's old school.
That's why it was so foggy in there.
Yeah, it could have been him. It could have been him. So
I got a question, Tommy. So, you spend time overseas and then you come back and then, World Juniors and you're playing AI. What do you remember about your progression? Do you see it as just being just a incremental uphill, like you're just getting better every season? Or did you find that there was like plateaus and then you'd work on something and then you'd keep getting better and excelling? Like how do you look back at your progression and think about how your game has evolved through those years?
I just look at it as I never wanted to be, I don't know if this is going to sound bad, but like I always want to be like in your top six as a forward. Like I want to be the guy that's playing. I want to have power play time. I want to be playing on the penalty kill. I want to play in every situation, whether we're, up a goal or down a goal at the end of a game. And I just tried to always, look at the guys ahead of me and have a realistic view of what a roster looks like. I think if you don't, you're only lying to yourself. If you think you're, better than someone in terms of this, and this, I think there's just so many variables to each player that everyone is so unique. You can't have 20 goal scorers. So
yeah,
it just doesn't work. So I think trying to find my own game and try and not perfect it, but try and be as best as I can at my skills, and try and learn from all the players that came through. Like everyone's getting good imports that are, better than the Aussies that are coming through. So trying to, pick their brains at the time.
Yep.
Especially when I was younger, and just watch them in drills and watch them in games and see the work ethic and, them around the rink and how professional they are, and try and keep up with that.
And so what did the off-ice training look like, coming into the AI and then through your AI career? Because obviously, you've played overseas. You know what it's like when you're on the ice every day and how great that is for your game. Is that something that you implemented back here in Australia? Like, were you shooting pucks off a board at the net, or were you rollerblading, or like, what did you do to like better your game when you couldn't just be on the ice?
I definitely wasn't as fit in the beginning as I should have been. That's for sure. Definitely relied on the skill, which I think probably most Aussies would say, and if they didn't, they're lying. But yeah, as I definitely matured and got older, I figured out that weights is okay, but I'm a big plyometrics and running guy if I can. So
yep.
I just, weights are heavy and I can't be bothered. So I'd much rather run and feel like I got a sweat on and,
Yep.
jump and sprint and, do stairs and stuff. So I really figured out that that was for me in the end, which I think was definitely beneficial for my game.
Yep. What's your favorite off-ice training product?
For me,
Anything
Both
released
of you.
by
I do like
Bauer.
that explosive stuff. I got longer legs, so it takes a little bit more for me to get going. Yeah, I don't mind the weights and stuff, but I think doing the same thing all the time can be a little bit boring. So I do like mixing up the different types of training. I've started to rotate in like a bit of pull work in as well, with not just like recovery, but just kind of getting ahead of any sort of potential niggling things that are hurting here and there. So yeah, but no, I do love that explosive sprint plyometric stuff. I feel like it's a little bit more engaging mentally.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Especially if you're competing against someone, that's a little bit quicker than you. You can chase them around. That's always fun.
Yeah, and I think it really depends on if you've sort of had injuries and how you need to, repair those and, go from there. I think it's your body changes and you need to adjust to it.
Yep. So
what about nutrition for you, Tommy? Have you mucked around with different sort of different, I guess, diets or stuff to sort of help you refuel? And do you have you changed your approach over the years?
Definitely when I was playing hockey, I never really had too much care of nutrition. I knew that I've never really eaten fast food. I don't really like soft drink and stuff anyway. So I try and be somewhat healthy, but I never had like a strict diet or anything like that. The later on in my AIHL career, I got real fit. I got into F45, so no free shout outs, but I loved it. It was the best. F45, I was going sort of like 4 or 5 times a week. I was going Sundays before playing games, and
yep.
yeah, it was the only time in my life that I've been fully shredded. And it was...
Yeah. Was that the gamification of it as well? Like seeing your scoreboard next to the other people, and that sort of touches on that competitive side of you?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. And I like not having to think when I'm in the gym. I don't want to, be looking at a program all the time and being like, all right, I got to go this in, this many sets. It's just put it on the board and tell me to go and tell me to stop. So
we're just going to cut to some footage of Tommy working out in the gym right now.
You don't want to see it right now.
There it is. There's Tommy.
We'll do a deep fake. We'll put his
there's Tommy
on,
fully kitted running on the treadmill with his skates on. That's what that clip is.
That was fun.
That's epic.
That was the best.
All right, so Tommy, talk to me about getting your first Goodall Cup. What was that feeling like, and what do you remember from that season? Like, did you have a feeling at the beginning of the year, like, we got something special here, like we got a good chance, or how did it all come together?
Yeah, I think everyone was really excited. We got some great imports off the bat, Armstrong, back leg, and it was just like, these guys are awesome. We saw those, and we obviously had, walking into O'Brien Icehouse, first year here was just pure excitement of having a new rink that had facilities for everything, and it was just something very different than what we'd had before. So we were all just pretty much excited all year, and team bonding was great. Everyone got along really well. We had a really good team, and we just won a lot, and we just kept building confidence through the year. And I don't think anyone really came too close to us in the end. We were determined to sort of, win at all costs, and first year here was just, it was gold.
What a fairy tale,
pure dominance.
Like season, like new rink, the team just firing, and you get it done.
Yeah, we definitely thought we had some pretty good teams before that, leading into finals and stuff, but yeah, it was never complete like that.
Yep.
Do you feel like, looking back, like those years prior to winning that Goodall Cup, that was sort of like setting that foundation for you guys to be able to be so successful for such a long period of time?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like most, good clubs. If you look at it, they sort of go through their growing pains, and you got to figure out your roster and who's playing and who's playing where, who's playing with who. Then you get new players again. So yeah, I think you break some hearts every once in a while when you lose in certain games that you think you should win. But yeah, I think it definitely helped us get to the point of winning in 2010 and then winning a couple more in a row after that. So once you win them, you just don't want to lose. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
losing is just
Yeah.
not an option after winning one. You just coming second is just no.
Yeah, you got that taste, and you don't want it to end, and it didn't end. It kept on going for 2 more years after that. What do you feel like was the what allowed you guys to be successful back to back to back? Because I mean, it's a cliche in all sports. Like, the second one is, I guess, harder to win than the first one, because you know you've gone through that process, but then you have to go through that grind again. What did you feel was like within your like the core group that you guys had allowed for you guys to be continuously successful and actually getting the three-peat, which is unreal. You're the only club in the modern AIHL, the AIHL as it is now, to be able to do that. Do you feel like, what do you feel like was the core essence of that group that allowed you guys to be successful 3 years in a row?
I think just having like you're saying about the core group is just having majority of the same players. Like we liked each other. We had almost all the same imports.
Yep.
So everyone already knew their role. We'd already had, familiarity with playing with each other, and we knew who was who and who was playing in what situation. And, no one's upset of someone playing over someone or anything like that, but it was still ultra competitive when someone, did get another opportunity. It was like, yeah, good on you. Like, that's rad. Like, you deserve it. We were just fully committed into winning, and we were happy to do whatever it took, whether it was you're playing 10 minutes or you're playing 20 minutes a night. We just didn't take no for an answer, and I think the commitment level of everyone of winning and staying the path was right there.
Within that three-peat,
Was there
what was happening?
was it same coaches, all the same coaches the whole time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
What was
Paul
happening
Watson.
in the off season between those championships? Like, was everyone staying committed and like training together, or was it summer league, or like what was that off season kind of looking like?
Yeah, everyone was, sticking around, and we didn't really have any off-season puck or anything. There was no real summer league at the time like there is now. So a lot of guys are playing in different levels and different rinks and stuff. But yeah, we were just sort of training together and try and get on the ice as much as we could. We tried to get the team to give us early ice time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's sort of, we'll get you back on the ice in, Jan or Feb, and we were wanting to go again in November, sort of, a couple months off, and, just captain skates, which is, most people know what that is. No coaches, just let us have a scrimmage. And even if it's once a week, just keep the exercise, keep the hands up, keep the vision going. We were trying to do that as much as possible. And we all liked each other. We were hanging out, and, whether it was going for a beer or going to someone's house, going to the park, kick a footy, just trying to be around each other as much as possible, which I think is huge. If everyone likes each other, it makes it easier.
Now, I've got a question. What are some of the things that you've seen change within the AIHL from when you first came into the league to when you stepped away from it and went back to Blackhawks? Like, what are the biggest kind of changes in your mind that you've seen and the progression?
I think the competitiveness of all the teams now. I think everyone is really good. Like, when we were winning, there was a couple of teams that just weren't as good. So, your battle for the top is a select few teams, where now it's, anyone can win at any game, and especially being just the finals almost being just a one game thing is anyone can win. And I think the commitment of Ice Hockey Australia and every person that's playing at the moment of wanting to get better and seeing the league develop, and there's a lot more people going overseas, which is great. It's definitely going to help build our Ice Hockey Australia through men's, women's, kids, adults. So for AIHL, I think just everyone wanting to win and get better and be the best that they can is great, and wanting to play more hockey is huge.
And I got another one for a midget age player within Australia. What would you say to them if they really wanted to be successful and have a long career in the AIHL? What are the things that you would instill in them and tell them to really focus on?
I tell everyone they got to go overseas. Just if you honestly, if you want to have any sort of chance of playing regular minutes,
Facts.
You've just got to commit. Whether it's going to a camp or if you can somehow, obviously it's expensive, but if you can find a way to play a season somewhere and just get on any team and just learn the ways from other people and be on the ice as much as you can, it's going to be beneficial. There's a lot of kids that come through now that have only played here, and at playing juniors to playing adults, it's just a different level. You just don't have all that time with the puck, and most kids that do want to play that are all goal scorers, and you can't just jump from kids to playing in an adult league that now there's guys that are NHL draftees. You're not going to beat them. So a way of learning and honing on your game is getting over and trying to learn as much as you can from other people as well that have lived that hockey life for a long time.
Now, Tommy, I also need to mention you are a part of a club that I feel that the numbers are dwindling. So I want to talk Tongues Out. Talk to me about Tongues Out. What do you see? Why are the kids not doing it anymore? It used to be the thing.
I think we need more Fedorovs and Burets to come back in the league. Now it's it's like the Matthews. It's the over the tendon guard sock tuck is it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a thing. I think, hockey fashion is...
That was just a Euro thing back in our day.
Yeah, that's exactly
that was
it.
the old
Euro
Yaga
style is where it's at, and I think, you can't go wrong with, Fuenzi's got it, some long hockey flow and Tongues Out, and I think Armstrong in 2012 when he had all white skates. There's just a few things that you should just, keep them going. So... Yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
He's one of the few guys that can pull that off in the league. There's not many guys that can pull it off. I'm telling you, I'm definitely not one of the guys that can wear a pair of white skates. You don't want to see my cement feet moving around with those things on. It'll look brutal. But Army, he looks good in them. It's undeniable.
Yeah, to try and chirp a guy like that who's pretty close to leading the league and scoring every year. So. Yeah, but big fan of Tongues Out if we could bring them back.
Yeah.
Currently not doing it though with my Hyperlights, but I used to whenever I got a new pair of skates, I used to just cut the tongue out right away out of the box and take the graph tongue out and put that in. And
did you sew it? Did you sew that?
Nah,
tongue?
super glue.
Just super glue. Yeah,
super glue it on and and they never came out, so it was fine. Didn't yank the tongue, so. Worked a treat. I think I put them through 4 pairs of skates in the end.
Yeah.
So I've still got them. I coach in those skates, and they're on a pair of old APXs now. So pretty stylish.
Unreal.
With some.
What about the old Nylander spraying the bottom third of the stick? What are your thoughts on that? I know you're a Toronto fan, but what do you think about these kids busting out the spray paint and chucking a bit of white on the bottom third of their stick?
I feel like we've all spray painted the bottom of our stick at some point.
I did that. Yeah, I did black for a long
black.
time.
Black was the cool thing back in the day.
Well, I think if we're going to bring up this one, I think we should get the facts straight that Nylander does it because he got it from Spezza. So this was a Jason Spezza thing, and he had him. And then when he was in the Leafs, he gave one of them to Willie Stiles, and he hasn't looked back. And I'm all for it. I love it. I'm a big Willie guy, so. He's out there earning 11.5 next year, so it's going to be a big downward spiral for the Leafs when there's a lot of cap space and 4 players. So we'll look at who the top draftee next year is, and we'll be going, I think.
Okay, now Tommy, talk to me about this new stage of life. You are a father, okay? How has that changed your kind of outlook on hockey? Are you going to be, coaching Adams anytime soon, or what's happening?
Yeah, good question. So my story goes like this. As soon as we got pregnant, I just quit hockey straight away. I just said, you know what? yeah, I'm here for it. I want to be a dad, and not everyone can be successful in pregnancy. It's a tough road for some, and we had some troubles, and in the end we were lucky enough to have a little baby girl, and yeah, it's the best, man. I would highly recommend it to anyone, and I say this in a nice way to all my friends, but I have no idea how you still play AIHL and have a child.
Yeah.
I want to spend all the time in the world with my daughter. She's the best. I would do anything for her, and I just couldn't imagine losing a weekend for free when you work during the week. Sorry if this puts people off playing, but I mean,
Yep.
no one's getting paid. It's not that money is a part of it, but yeah, just time with family is the most important thing for me at this time. I'll say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. She's the best, and now I play hockey once a week for the Blackhawks, and it's a blast. I have a great time playing with them. They're a good bunch of dudes, and
Yep.
yeah, we win a lot of hockey games, so it's a good time for that, and good time at home.
That is awesome. I remember when my wife Michaela was pregnant, and I saw you here in Melbourne, and I said, Tommy, have you got any words of advice? Like at that point, you have no idea what you're about to walk into.
Absolutely.
And I remember you just said to me, just take it in your stride. Even in the middle of the night, it's still the best job in the world. Like, it's still just so awesome. And I was thinking at that point, I was like, man, he's got to be crazy. Like, really? But
middle of the night, I want to sleep.
It is. Like, it's just all consuming. And, you're right there in that moment. And even at the worst times, kids screaming, it's middle of the night. It's still great.
Yeah.
It's still awesome.
It's the best. And I think, I've got a very good gig with my workplace as well. So I still get to have my hockey fix, working with the hockey academy at the Ice House. So, I still get to give back and, get on the ice and help out all the kids and adults that are coming through. So
yeah,
I get that as well as, having my family time. But yeah, for my own personal game, I just like playing once a week. It's great.
Yeah.
So we don't really take it too seriously. And yeah, we have a good time. And yeah, like I said, we score a lot of goals. I play with a lot of good players. So not to get into it, but we had a game last night and put up 19 on the board. So
oof.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
So yeah, not that that's every game, but it's good fun when you play. And my daughter came along and she's playing through the glass on the back of the bench. So yeah, it's just nice to be able to share moments like that.
So Tommy, last couple of questions here. What are your hopes and ambitions for Australian hockey?
Kids,
touching on that with the national team stuff, like for people that aren't aware that don't follow ice hockey in Australia that much, like if you make the national team, it comes with an invoice, and you've been part of those teams for a long time. We've been teammates on the national team together as well. Like, how would you like to see the national team elevate to that next level so we can not just go up to the next division but stay up there and be more competitive? Because we got countries like Spain and China that were in our pool, and those would be teams that we could easily beat back then. Now they've sort of leapfrogged us and they've put in, looks like, a little bit more time there. What do you think we can do to help take the national team program to that next level?
Yeah, good question. I mean, you're definitely right with, everything comes with a with an invoice. I can only speak for the men's team right now, but, my last few years is no matter where you're playing, it's the same amount, whether, I played in Melbourne and played in Newcastle, and it's the same amount to go there it is to go Mexico. So, and I think just having the quality of players from one year to another just drops off depending on who can make it. I remember talking to a coach once, and he said that they were picking number 64 or something off of their roster, in terms of like graded players that they wanted to choose from. Obviously, it wasn't up to me to know the player who it was, but I knew that there was a number, 64. When you look at, we're bringing 17, 18 players, and you're going down that far, it's a lot of no's. And it's tough. Like, how can you give up 3.5 weeks of leave to go and play every year and, compete when other countries are getting into professional leagues? And it's tough. Like we made Div 1B and it was just straight back down again the next year.
Yeah.
You just don't even stand a chance, and we didn't even bring the same team that had won, wasn't even close. So, yeah, I think if we could obviously have the same, like your top 20 players go, I think we would be, competitive. But yeah, I mean, trying to get to finding that
Yeah.
and getting the funding within, there's some great hockey academies around and programs that are in Australia. If we could turn them into, getting more and more ice time here and maybe getting some international coaches, not saying they're the answer, but, if we could, try and feed back into Ice Hockey Australia in all the states, that would be great and only beneficial for everyone to sort of build and get more exposure here. And yeah, I think the awareness so far of, AIHL players coming down is bringing friends, family, and then new players again. So I think we are on the right track to getting bigger and better. It's just a bit of a slow process right now.
And I think with the NHL Global Series as well, like that's got to be helping it. The awareness, the new kind of talent coming in, those young kids who are just so passionate about what they're seeing and wanting to be a part of it. So, I mean, you were right on the inside of that when they came down. How was that experience, Tommy?
It was phenomenal. The trainings around here, because I was lucky enough to, sort of be around it all and see all the trainings. It was so good. The trainings were so much better than the games, and the games were awesome. Like, just watching them train and how hard they go and just how drilled they all are it's a different world than anything I've ever seen before. They spend no time at the board. They don't waste a single second. They already know what the drills are. Coach calls out any player that's making a mistake. Doesn't matter whether it's, Kopitar to Trevor Moore to Brandon Clark. Like, it was awesome. It was just so good to watch and, just see all the behind the scenes stuff that they do and how, like, the crew they bring from, the trainers to social media staff to literally everyone it was crazy. And yeah, it was good to be a part of, and, very lucky to be around it and, even see the difference between the Kings and the Coyotes is, pretty funny. Some good stories there.
Did you get any twigs, any signed pucks, any sort of cool little, any sort of little bits and pieces that you were able to sort of slide it into the coat jacket?
Yeah, I did actually. I got a couple of official Coyote pucks from their trainers, which was pretty cool. Picked up a couple of broken sticks, bit of a hoarder. So, anything I could.
Were they all broken, Tommy? Or?
They were all broken. Yeah, they were put in the bin, so they were broken sticks. But yeah, I think they
still belong to an NHL player. I don't care.
Yeah,
take it.
They were here for a week, and there was 4 broken sticks in a week.
Really?
Training twice a day. Yep, 4 broken sticks. That's it. I can say officially that none of those were Bauer.
Excellent.
I have them on my desk, so if you don't believe me, come check them out.
Yeah.
So yeah, but some good ones too. So a couple of funny nicknames on the stick. Had to look those up.
Really? Nice.
So yeah, you got to make them all fun, which is all part of hockey, right? So
Tommy, I got a question for you. Rounding it out, you've always struck me as kind of like you're the funny guy. You bring laughter, energy to the room. How did
Big blue guy.
Yeah. How do you?
So I made some teams. It's the only reason.
How do you navigate that with tapering up, tapering down, and what you're kind of like bringing to the room? Was that always been a conscious effort on your part to kind of mediate, bringing the laughter in those moments, but then the seriousness in others, because you have had those captaincy roles and the leadership roles on these teams? So was that a big part of kind of your mental strategy going through all those?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you should try and, change who you are if you just get a letter on your jersey. I don't think, you need to become a different person and then, just try and be hard or yell at people. And, like, we've all got to play our own game as well. So, yeah, for me, it's always been about fun and enjoyment and, playing in the AIHL. We're all extremely lucky to have this opportunity to, play for free and, travel and have fans watch us. And, it's awesome to go at the end of a game and talk to fans and, just see them across the road, having a meal and hang out. So, yeah, it's always good to try and give back as much as possible. But, yeah, no, I didn't try and change who I was. Obviously, there's times when you need to be a little bit serious, but I think everyone has that in them to sort of, give a little bit of a speech when needed. But, no, most of the time it's all fun with me, and, I don't really take too much too seriously, I guess. I'm like lighthearted in it, but obviously serious enough to really know exactly what I want. Like, when I tape my stick, I don't look, like I just tape it and walk off. Like, I don't think it makes any difference whether it's perfect or not. I enjoy it, and that works for me. It doesn't work for others. So yeah, it's the way it is for me.
And Tommy, if there's some...
Sorry, the last thing on that one, it was great for me to see when I came into the national team, and you had that playful energy within the change room. You were able to, even though it was all, we were there for a serious goal, and we had prepared long for it, but you found a way to sort of lighten it up by pulling a few pranks on some guys, and just bring guys together. What were your favorite little pranks that you can say on the pod that, looking back, I can think of a couple, but are there any ones that stick out to you where you still give yourself a little bit of a chuckle when you think back on it?
Oh, I mean, if you're not pulling a couple of pranks here and there, then it's not really fun. You're spending 3.5 weeks getting to know some people, and you already know some others. But yeah, I mean, if you're not putting clear tape on the bottom of someone's skates, or getting a cup of water and putting it in their helmet if their helmet's facing numbers out, so when they grab their helmet, they're just spraying themselves with water.
Taping a puck to a blade.
Yeah, taping. Yeah, loosening all the drink bottles, picking on certain players, so when they have a drink at the bench, that's just tips them on them as well. Like, you just got to have fun with it, otherwise, yeah, it's for me that's part of the whole adventure.
So, Tommy, if there's kids out there or parents listening who want their kids to learn some of these tricks and also the hockey skills that can help them on their journey, where can they find you at the Hockey Academy?
You can find me. I'll see if I can not prank you as well. But no, seriously, I'm around. Work at Ice House Hockey Academy. So I'll be around sort of working on skills for kids, adults, beginners, advanced. Always happy to help out. I coach one of the winter teams as well around here, the lower level, the D grade team, which is phenomenal, the Ice Wolves. It's good fun, and still playing in the thing called Prem A, which is great. So yeah, have a blast. Still around all the rinks everywhere, whether it's here, Oakley, IHQ, Ice HQ. So yeah, it's good fun. Still living the hockey dream, but a slightly different way.
So Tommy, talk to me about your business as well, because not only hockey player, but also, I mean, let's be honest, artist, designer,
businessman,
business owner.
Mogul.
Yes. Talk to me about Amateur Hour Hockey Apparel, and how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, I got an ABN, no big deal. So I guess through COVID,
It's on a business lunch. What are you doing, you cheapskate?
I know, right? Get the credit card out, so let's go. But yeah, no, just through COVID, especially in Melbourne, it was shut down for a long time, obviously like everywhere really, but there wasn't much to do, and just started drawing some hockey things like I was when I was 10, I don't know, something like that, and enjoyed the old iPad drawing, and just decided to create an Instagram page, and trying to think of a name and trying to a bit of a good sense of humor with it. Amateur Hour Hockey in Australia kind of made sense across every level, whether it, thanks to my wife, she's very clever. That was definitely her. So yeah, we kind of went with that, and I was drawing away, and I was lucky enough to draw a bunch of my friends like Brian. That was a blast. So yeah, just
thank you for that. That was unreal when you sent me that. I appreciate that. That was so cool. We got to get one done of Shawnee.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a photo of you on the bench.
I don't actually know if there's any photos floating around the internet anymore. I'll find one.
We'll take one from the pod.
That'd be perfect. Just one of those.
But, yeah, wanted to.
And NHL players, you've done some pretty high profile artworks as well, and gotten shout outs, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got some good shout outs and had some conversations with some players that I was, pretty shocked about, really, that liked it. So, Mason McTavish at the World Juniors when they won, it was his profile picture on Instagram for a while. So
So
stuff like that. And I had good couple of conversations with some other players. That was just awesome. Connor Carrick, John Hayden, like just not obviously the biggest name guys, but just awesome to see them, and they all appreciated it and made some good connections with some other hockey influencers that enjoyed it and shared it, and became some contacts. But did some AIHL, drew my friends, drew some NHL guys, and then just decided that why not throw it on a shirt or a hoodie or something. And it was all part of the fun. And there wasn't much in terms of hockey apparel in Australia. There's Cheapskate, which are awesome. They do a great job. Check them out as well if you haven't before. Cheapskate Hockey, they're great. Great dudes. So and I just decided to run with it, and haven't done too much with it lately, but
can people still jump online and purchase? Yeah.
Amateurhour.com.au. There's an Instagram page as well, so check that out.
You partnered with a local printer as well, like someone based in Melbourne?
Yeah, someone based in Melbourne, so he does all my printing and shipping and stuff. So if you have a problem, just ask him. It's fine. I just do all the designs and do the website and stuff. But no, it's all my thing, and it's great. Have a good time and rock it every once in a while. So have to get some in Skaters Network at some point.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. Well, I mean,
do you still hate the Ducks after what they did to you?
Still hate the who? Sorry.
The Ducks.
Oh yeah, the Ducks.
Didn't they stitch you up with one of your designs?
Yeah, the Ducks organisation, they did. They sniped one and put a different backdrop on it, and I contacted them, but no response in return. So I still got the screenshot if you guys ever wanted Anaheim. But that was a Zegras one. So, I mean, now he's broken his ankle, so I don't want to say it's karma, but like. Come on, guys.
You did it to yourself, Ducks. There it is.
And he's a great player.
Just Tommy with a voodoo doll. just
no,
right
I'm a big Zegras guy. I like watching the Michigans, so
yep.
I'm a big fan. I've been trying for the last year to do one, and I've failed every time, and I was lucky enough 2 weeks ago to pull one off. So
there it is. Is there any footage of that floating around?
No, I play low level hockey now, so this is not the AIHL show.
I might put the call out if anyone's got the mobile phone clip of that, or they were doing a TikTok and in the background there's Tommy.
Yeah,
we want to see it.
It was one of the 10 o'clock games, so there wasn't many people around, unfortunately. But I took a puck in the mouth that game, first shift, and then came back for the second shift, pulled to Michigan, and I thought I might as well just go home.
Dude,
that's enough of legends right there.
I got a cage after that, so yeah.
Is that
I'm doing
top
it.
highlight of your career so far? Maybe?
Wearing a cage, going back to wearing a cage since I was 20, yeah, that's a good highlight.
Very good.
Tough to see. It's like, not the easiest thing in the world going back, but
full bubble.
Not a bubble guy, I guess.
Not a bubble guy.
You got it. I'm going full bubble. It is awesome.
I'm not a bubble guy.
Hey, it's common in the AIHL now. Everyone's wearing bubbles.
And I'm not in the AIHL, Brian. I'm just a full cage rager right now. So
there it is.
Yeah, going full NCAA, loose cage hang. I know what I'm doing.
What are the specs? What's the cage?
Style points. Yeah.
It's the Oreo cage. So the black front.
Yep.
White inside, straight from Skaters Network. So, I'm rocking one of those.
Awesome.
It's great. Yeah, I love it.
All right, well, we've taken up enough of your time, Tommy. Get home to that lovely family. Thank you so much for sitting down. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Good fun.